Great, we're here with actress Chaley Rose. She currently stars on Nashville as Zoe, one of ABC's recently renewed dramas on television. And when we say drama, there's drama.
Drama is the right word.
You came in last season, or the beginning of this season, and you are a friend to...
I play Scarlett's best friend from childhood.
And then that got rocky.
And then I started dating her ex-fiance. Secretly.
Which led to the rockiness.
Yes.
When did you first start to want to become an actress?
When I was a little girl, I was always in dance. My mom frowned upon the idea of me being an actress or a singer or anything. So when I was little, though, she really kind of nourished that dream. Anyway, I don't know if she realized that's what she was doing, but I was allowed to play with the video camera. So I was constantly I always loved Saturday Night Live. It's my dream to host SNL. And I was little. I mean, I was probably 10 or 11 doing my own sketches. They were funny to us because we were 11, but I don't know if you remember Hans and Franz.
Hans and Franz, yes.
We did Inga and Gertrude. Literally, my best friend and I, as 11-year-olds, it was not funny. And I would do like stop motion videos. And then I kind of started to find a way to justify for myself why I wasn't going to sing or act, because I knew my mom didn't want me to. Although when I was in middle school, high school, elementary school, I always did choir, show choir, solo competitions. When I was a junior in high school, my parents got divorced. My brother is the older kid, and he rebelled, just started doing whatever he wanted, pierced his ears, And so I had a moment of, you know what? If everybody's going to do what they want to do, people are going to get divorced, my brother's going to go off and rebel, I'm going to do what I want to do. And I literally sat my mom down. It was like coming out. Like, Mom, I'm going to be a singer. Like, that was my rebellion of choice. And that was what I decided to do. So I moved to New York, pursuing a music career. I had no idea what I was doing. I'm from Columbus, Indiana, a small city.
Did you book anything off-Broadway, or were you strictly going for singing?
I was strictly going for singing. I started out working at the Fifth Avenue Abercrombie, dancing and greeting. I was a greeter, but I danced my butt off my whole shift. It was so fun. And then I worked at the Oak Room as a hostess, and that's where I first met a manager who had, introduced me to some really great producers. And I would meet another producer and another this or that, and it always ended with, let's go to dinner. It always ended with this, there was an undertone of, you give me something to get something in return. And ultimately, I ended up in Atlanta. I was there for 4 months. Through a friend of a friend who was an attorney for a production company in Atlanta, a good one. And it ended in the worst sexual harassment I've ever experienced in my life. And this was a theme. And finally I was just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And I auditioned for an acting coach here. It was fantastic. I got in the class and I became obsessed with the process. Fascinated by it, and that's when I really shifted gears and just started pursuing a career as an actor.
And when you booked Nashville and started on Nashville, did you move there permanently, or did you kind of feel out how long you were going to be on?
I was in LA when I booked it, and it was down to the wire, so I auditioned on a Thursday and was in Nashville on a Saturday with a carry-on size bag with enough clothes for like 5 days. And I get to the front desk, and the guy checking me in was like, looks like you're here for a month. I was like, what? I was freaking out because I didn't want to be in Nashville.
Right.
I wanted to do the job, but it started to grow on me. And initially I was flying back and forth. I broke up with my boyfriend at the time, and was talking to a writer who's also a producer, and she was like, "Look, calm down," because I had to move out of my place in LA. I was homeless officially. She's like, "Get an apartment here. You're going to be around for a while." Because this was only maybe 10 episodes into the show. So then I moved to Nashville.
Now, how hard was it for you, knowing that you could sing, and in the beginning, your character was getting rejected, and saying to come back? Did you have to really dial it down and make your voice not as good, or did you just do it a certain way where it wasn't your full potential?
Well, no, because I sang in the 4th episode and did some oohs and ahs with Jonathan and Sam in the 5th. The hard part for me was the long stretch of episodes where I didn't sing.
Right.
Other than that audition scene, I'm very happy with the way that song turned out. And you don't hear the whole thing.
Right.
But I didn't hold back.
But for them to hear that it was, tell you it wasn't polished or whatever, the casting, or when you didn't have a demo. She said come back when you have a demo.
You don't actually even hear me sing in that episode, anything.
Yeah.
But to flesh that out as an actor, I've had billions of auditions where I did not sing my best because I was nervous or I psyched myself out. So for the sake of the scene, I could imagine that I had a terrible audition.
Well, you sure kicked ass the rest of the year singing. You didn't need any any other direction from her.
Thank you.
What's it like working down in Nashville as opposed to working down in New York? I know that people there are friendlier, and not that New Yorkers aren't friendly, but when you come from the South, there's a certain way that people act, and when you come up here, it's different. And you were originally from Indiana, but had also had roots here.
Right.
Is that something to get used to?
No, not really. I think that it's been an interesting journey. I'm from the Midwest, in a small place in the Midwest. I came to New York and got beat up in New York. I got what I needed out of New York. It kind of whipped me into shape to be in this business, which is tough and judgmental and harsh at times. So getting to Nashville is nice. To be around people who slow down a little bit and are genuinely interested in knowing how you're doing, rather than just, "Hi, how are you? Let's move on to the next thing." They don't drive fast enough for me in Nashville. That's my only complaint.
Yeah. Especially being up here, you're used to buzzing around.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to people who are just starting out as an actor or actress?
In my journey as an actor, I was in a place where my parents weren't in a position to help me financially, and I had the choice of either getting a real job and having some security, or struggling, which I did every day that I lived in New York. And so I talk to people all the time who are like, "Do you have any advice?" And my advice is dive in. You can't, and they're like, "Well, I kind of want to save up some money first, or I want to secure a job first." And those aren't the people who make it. It's not how this business works. It is high risk, high reward. So if you really want to be an actor, dive in. You have to be in New York or LA, in my opinion. You can book some guest stars or co-stars out of the Southeast, but you're not gonna, if you want to be an actor, series regular, doing films, working with the best of the best,
right,
you have to be in one of these cities. And it's hard to be in these cities, but it's where the work is.
Right. And Atlanta's starting to become one of those bigger cities where the shows are filming. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
Thank you.
I'm sure all my viewers can't wait to see what's next for Zoe next year. And hopefully you come on with everybody else's name and not on the guest starring.
Yeah.
We're champion for full time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.